Good morning, everyone. What's going on, traders? Happy Thursday. Who's ready to make some money today? I'm ready. Feeling good, feeling good. I think the weather lately has been so nice where I'm at, and it brings me energy. Like the soul-sucking days of summer just being so hot and like draining energy are finally over. But in Houston, where I'm at, it doesn't really get that cold other than like a couple weeks out of the year. So we're in that quote unquote fall stage where it's like 70s and sunny for a couple weeks, and it's just beautiful. In Houston, it doesn't happen very much, so you gotta soak up these times. Usually it's hot and humid. So, just been spending a lot of time hanging out outside with my kids. Good morning, good morning. You got hail last night. That's no fun. Hopefully it wasn't anything that caused major damage. Hopefully it was just little hail. Because I don't know what Ontario weather is like, but in Texas we get some crazy hailstorms that can just destroy houses and cars and all kinds of stuff. What news is bringing down the market? Honestly, I think it's just a pullback. Just a healthy pullback, in my opinion. It was at an area of resistance, getting a little move down. Speaking of news, I always take a screenshot of the Financial Juice news for the week ahead, and then I just kind of glance at it each morning to make sure nothing has changed. And this morning, a pretty big announcement popped up. We kind of just had speakers all day, nothing big. But Trump is making an announcement at 11 o'clock Eastern. So I think I probably will not be taking any positions at that time. I would caution you guys to be trading at all during that time. So beware. Mark your calendars. Be ready. Oh, we got a San Antonio friend here. You know what I'm talking about. Like 10 months out of the year, I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating, but 9 or 10 months out of the year, it's just hot. So those couple weeks where you get nice weather that you just want to like sit outside and be outside all day, you got to soak it up. Good camping weather. My family likes to do little weekend getaways and like, you know, good old fashioned camping fun. Hikes, playgrounds, bike rides, all that stuff. So right now, NQ and really ES are both in the range of yesterday's session volume profile. So this jumbled set of lines down here, I'll zoom in a little bit. That's Asia low, London low, and yesterday's New York session value area low. So this is kind of the bottom of the range here. I could see us maybe coming down and grabbing some of this liquidity and bouncing. Because if we hold above these levels, like really if we hold above this golden zone that I have down here, I'll be watching for longs. So I could see this area, if we do get some downside at the open, having that be a good bounce opportunity. We are kind of hovering right here at yesterday's point of control. I don't love taking trades off of point of control because it can be really choppy right here. Because that's where most of yesterday's transactions actually took place. So that's what people call the fair value. So buyers and sellers agreed on this price, which means it can just kind of chop around right there for a while. Where are we at in relation to VWAP? We are a little bit below VWAP. So I could see possible downside at the open, maybe down to these levels, and we'll see what happens down there. But so far, like I said, pretty clean range. We'll see what happens with the New York session. And then looking at ES, similar. I didn't mark the value area high on ES from yesterday because it was actually the same line as the high, the previous day high. So it's been within the range too, a little bit below yesterday's value area low, which is interesting, but Asia and London low right there. So similar idea, if it comes down and grabs some of that liquidity and bounces, possible long opportunity I would be looking for. I saw that Nancy Pelosi announced her retirement. All kinds of crazy stuff going on. Retirement, Trump has some announcement going on. We got lots of Fed speakers. Fun stuff. There's a Russia oil refinery that has halted operations because of a Ukrainian drone attack. Stockfather, you actually were asking about what the news was and why this drop was happening. That could be it. I didn't watch the news. I actually took a short here because of a rejection from the value area high. And if you look at the 1 hour chart, it was actually a super clean fair value gap fill to the tick and value area high. So good spot for a short. So I hopped in on that and targeted VWAP. All right, market's open in a little less than a minute. Here we go. All right, let me zoom into the 1 minute. This red VWAP, let me zoom out a little bit, that is actually anchored from yesterday's low. So it'll be interesting to see if it holds above that. It has been. I mean, look at support, support, support. So if we stay bullish today, it definitely could hold above that anchored VWAP. Let's see. Could get a little wick below to grab some of this London and Asia low liquidity and bounce from there. Let's see. I am feeling better, Waffles. Thank you for asking. It's amazing what a couple hours of sleep, a couple good nights of sleep can do for you. Did not come down to these overnight lows yet. Kind of looks like it's trying to hold that anchored VWAP. Slow open so far, it seems. kind of watching both. So on the left, if you guys haven't been noticing that I changed my screen a little bit, NQ is on the left and ES is on the right. I've been doing that lately and it's actually helping me quite a bit. If both of them react with a good bounce off of those overnight lows, that would be my entry for long. Kind of just gives me extra confluence for it. A little extra confidence if it ends up getting down there. Who knows? It might bounce before then. While we're waiting for a good setup this morning, guys, if you haven't hit the like already, go hit the like button. I appreciate it. Coming down again. Are we going to retry? Oh, man. It's just tickling the edge of that line right there. Makes me think it wants to go down and grab it. You better not bounce off of this without me. Come on. It's interesting that ES is quite a bit higher. NQ is kind of like playing with that line. ES isn't quite as close. Zooming out a little bit, we do need to be careful with this bounce and possibly just look for a scalp or actually trail stop losses pretty aggressively, because there is room to come back down to this 25, 550-ish level. So I'll be careful of that. All right, London low, value area low. Almost coming all the way down. Let's see how it reacts here. See if we get some good volume on a bounce. If not, then I'll leave it and possibly let it come lower. So far, this is our 15-minute range high. Looking decent for a bounce. Let's see if it comes a little bit lower and grabs that Asia low. I went down to London. Not quite all the way down. It's hovering. It's trying. All right, I took an entry. 648.3 is where I entered. But like I said, I feel like there is a chance that it could come down to this 25,550s level. So I'll trail my stop loss somewhat aggressively. But if this thing is going to move up from here, there is quite a bit of upside. For now, I'll see if I can get back up to VWAP at like 704-ish. No. Could have put my stop loss too tight, and that's okay. Let's see if it comes down a little bit lower. Kind of a slow open. This is interesting. All right, now let's see if this level holds and we get a strong bounce, or if it's going to come all the way down to this gold zone. Let's see, where are we headed? ES is coming down to that Asia and London low. So let's see if that holds over there. Maybe get a bounce on both sides, perhaps. That was quite a bit of volume to the downside, though, so we'll see. ES is bouncing at that overnight low. Got about 2 more minutes until this opening range is set. Good morning. With gold, I don't normally watch gold during the Asia or the New York session. I do pay attention to it during Asia though. Interesting spot here. Let's see if it reclaims this value area low, because like I said, ES came down to these overnight lows and bounced. Still holding above it. Why only gold during Asia? Probably because it moves really well during the Asia session. And then during the New York session, I feel like that would be too many different things to watch. Like watching NQ and ES is one thing because they typically move together and I can kind of use them to like add confidence to a trade. But gold is totally different, you know? All right, while I was talking, I got in to this same idea. 621.75 was my entry. Reason was I was still watching this level and ES held it. NQ dropped below it and then ended up getting that volume to the upside. So again, gonna trail my stop aggressively. I've already moved it to at least break even in case I'm wrong again. And then target. Point of control from yesterday is right near VWAP and it's at a round number of 700. So that's what I'm aiming for. If it actually moves up, it might hit my stop loss. Our 15-minute opening range is set at this point. I didn't mark off my 15-minute range over here. I'm debating whether I should hold a runner or not. I don't know. There might be more downside, and I'm just thinking it's going to go all the way up to like overnight highs. I don't know. There's definitely not continuation up. We might see more downside. How many points do I set as my stop loss in NQ? I don't do it based on a certain number of points. I just do it based on price action. So I usually, yikes, what was that? I usually don't take a trade if it's more than like 30 points as a stop loss. Just because my risk per trade is $200. That would have to be a really tiny position. Well, I'm glad I had my stop loss at break even. That was a pretty big drop. ES is coming back down, actually grabbing that London low. And NQ is coming back to the 15-minute opening range low. Let's see what happens. Yup, more down. So this gold area was kind of my watch zone for longs or shorts. So if we hold this support area, I'm okay with still looking for longs. If we drop below, then I'll change my tune. If I know the market's going down, why did I not close my trade? I did close my trade. Had my stop loss at break even because I thought there was a chance it could come down. And I wasn't making a prediction. I was saying there was a chance that it could come lower. That's why I was aggressive with trailing my stop loss. But there was also a chance that it could come up to VWAP before rejecting. So that's why I had my target there. All right, coming down to this support zone. The reason I have that, I'll zoom out a little bit to the 1 hour. You can see on the visible range volume profile, there's quite a bit of support there, high volume node. So let's see if that holds. If it comes down to the bottom of this zone around like 25, 520s, that could be a decent risk to reward long trade. Let's see. What are the odds that it would hit 25,500 if the current level doesn't hold? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the bottom of this high volume node that I have marked off. I have it at like 25,508. So that makes sense to me if it ends up coming all the way down to this support region. Gonna be patient and see what happens here. Definitely getting heavy. ES is dropping hard. Well, shoot, is everyone trying to exit their positions because they're not sure what Trump is going to be announcing? They're like, I'm getting out. I don't know what he's going to say. I'm not going to risk it. Gold is rejecting too. That's interesting since they're usually opposite. I guess everyone's selling all their assets, getting ready for Trump. For me, this is a pretty big zone that I had marked off on gold. So if it rejects that, there could be more downside. Everything's looking pretty red. Good morning, Maverick. VIX is up. Dang. QQQ is coming down to a support level that I had. NQ is in a support level. Let's see if we get a bounce at the bottom of the zone. Kind of watching for a reaction here. If it stays heavy and drops below, then, like I said, I'll be watching for shorts. We shall see. Oh my goodness. Wow. Definitely read that all wrong. I was looking for longs the whole day. Oh, man. Goodbye, 25,500. Yeah, it didn't hold that quote-unquote support area at all. Yeah, I know NQ's at a support level, but it's just cutting through it. It's looking pretty heavy. Good thing I didn't take the trade. Yeah, I think I've learned my lesson the hard way too many times. Not to like try to catch a falling knife just because I have a line marked on my chart. I was going to wait for a reaction at that level. All right, well, I don't see much until all the way down towards 320s or so. Let's look at what ES is doing. Similar look for ES. It could be coming down to like 67.50s or so. I'm guessing that VIX is VIX is going to the moon. QQQ has a gap down here. I don't know how far this thing's gonna dump, but let's see if it comes down to like 612 or so. I hope someone in the chat entered a short, maybe on like the 15-minute opening range break or something, and they're still riding it. Who read this thing right? And they're in an amazing short right now. 413 is your TP. Let's go. Oh man, this is a beauty. If I was on the right side of it. Well, one thing I will applaud myself for is I stuck to my game plan, and that's something that I can be proud of. Like, I feel like I took good trades according to what I was watching for. So can't be upset with that. Managed my risk well. So at this point, game plan number 2 is a retest of this level that I was watching. So if it happens to come back up to like 25,500, I could take a short for continuation down. But with how heavy this thing is, I don't know if we're going to get a retest. That's another 75 points or so back up there. Awesome. We got a couple people in the chat that took the short. Awesome. Good trade. It's a pretty big bounce there. There's quite a bit of consolidation in this zone. I mean, if it holds this, I don't know, 460-ish, if it holds that level, we could get a decent bounce. I don't know. Let's see what ES is doing. ES is holding that support level that I had marked off too. Interesting spot here. Yeah, Grumpy, I don't know. So I Googled it because I thought maybe I changed my settings or did something weird because everyone has their @ name now. But other channels, some people still have their regular screen name. What Google told me is that it's a new release that's going to be like phased out. So some people have it, some don't. And I guess it's supposed to help with security protocol so people can't steal your name. I don't know. I didn't understand what it was, but it's supposed to be a new thing. I'm watching this spot here. See how these next couple of candles close. Like I said, ES is getting a decent bounce at a support area I had marked off. Good little liquidity grab if you look left. And then NQ, same thing if you look left. There was quite a bit of chop here. So if it gets back above this level at like 450-ish, 460, we might see some more upside. But again, staying patient to see how these next couple candles close because I don't want to try to catch a falling knife. Don't play with knives. Didn't your mom tell you that? Nobody wants to steal Grumpy. It is kind of sad. I don't like it because I was starting to kind of get to know your guys' names. And, you know, it was fun to make fun of you guys. Check on you, Grumpy, and make sure you drank your coffee so you didn't come in and be mean to people in the chat because you were grumpy. Now I'm having to like relearn who everyone is. Alrighty, 472.5. I got in. I was watching the 2-minute chart on my other screen. Volume's coming in. Gonna give it a shot. Mostly based on the fact that ES is holding and it is getting back above that level I was watching. Might take some work to get past this level. Maybe come back to opening range low. I don't know. I'll see how targets go. Maybe just to the top of that level. So far, this is our initial balance low. Hopefully that holds, and that is our low. Not looking good for continuation. Alrighty. Stop me out. Alright. Gotta stop taking longs. This is when your patience gets tested? Yeah, absolutely. I also know too that I came into the day looking for longs. So that's, and the fact that like I'm getting a little mad at myself because I had that bias and I missed that whole move short. So I can feel myself kind of just looking for a trade at this point. $14 until the initial balance is set. So let's see what happens there. See if it ends up breaking lower and coming to some of these supports here, or starts to like maybe make a higher high, higher low and confirm that we're moving up. We got time. There it is. Good reminder to myself that I should have been patient. Marie View, welcome. Happy to have you. What broker is recommended for starters? Well, it depends. Are you going to be trading with your own capital, or are you just going to be paper trading, or are you going to be using a prop firm? If you're brand new and like just starting to throw money into trading, you've never traded before, if that's you, I would probably recommend the prop firm route. Are you familiar with prop firms at all? If not, I'm happy to kind of explain. I had no idea what they were when I got into the world of trading. So prop firms are basically companies that allow you to trade with their capital. And from my perspective, when you're a beginner, it allows you to have a little bit of skin in the game, but not thousands of dollars of skin in the game. Like, in order to really have enough capital to actually take positions in a brokerage, you should probably have a minimum of like $2,000 by the time you pay fees and the monthly expenses and all that. And that's, in my opinion, a lot of money to just potentially throw away. So with a prop firm, you can buy an account with them and you pass a challenge, usually. So for example, like with Lucid, it's $80 and they give you $2,000 of drawdown to trade with. They call it a $50,000 account, but basically you fail the account if you lose more than $2,000. So I look at it as a $2,000 account, and you have to make $3,000 in profit to pass their challenge. So you're trading with simulated funds. And then after you pass their evaluation, you go into their funded stage where you can actually take payouts. But you're still trading simulated funds, but you can take real money out of the account. So there's obviously a little bit more of a timeline. Like, you probably won't get a payout for at least a couple of weeks if you trade pretty well. Whereas if you have your own account, you can potentially take a payout tomorrow. Like, it's your real money. But in most cases, people are not going to be great at trading and they're probably going to lose money. So with that Lucid example, if you blow your account, you lose the $80 that it costs to buy the account, versus if you're trading your own capital, you just lost a couple $1,000s. So that's why I recommend prop firms, at least in the beginner stage. And honestly, even as you start to become more advanced, prop firms have a lot of value as well, because there's a lot of leverage. Because, once you get to the point where you want to make a lot more money and take bigger positions, then you need to have like $50,000 to $100,000 in your brokerage account. But with a prop firm, you can buy like 5 accounts, 10 accounts. Some of them are crazy and let you have 20 accounts, and you can copy trade across them. So it just increases your leverage. So hopefully that helped kind of explain overall what the prop firms are. They all have different rules, so if you have questions about a specific prop firm, I'm happy to help you out. You can join the Discord if you're not already. There's a link in the description for it, and you can send me a DM. But most of the, like in general, prop firms, you do a test, the eval phase. There's a $3,000 profit target. Once you hit that, you go to their funded stage. And usually you have to trade like 5 days or so, like have 5 profitable days and hit some sort of minimum profit target, and then you can take a payout. It's pretty cool. Well, this will definitely be going down in my journal, you guys. I had the right idea. I just wasn't patient to wait for the right move. So in hindsight, I probably should have zoomed out to the 5-minute, because I can see right here, this is the 5-minute candle where the real move started to happen. So I probably would have actually entered somewhere closer to here, because I would have waited for that 5-minute candle to close, got in on the next 5-minute candle, put my stop loss somewhere around here, maybe a little bit less, just because I don't like a 60-point stop loss. And then I could have targeted like the opening range low or something like that. There's a lot of room back to the upside if this thing is going to retrace. But I think I was on the 2-minute chart, and I got in on this candle right here. And even if it does end up rejecting here at this New York anchored VWAP, which it might, that's some pretty heavy selling pressure right there, I would have at least had my stop loss at break even at that point. A lesson in patience. The Discord is free, Marie. I don't charge anything. I'm not trying to sell you a course or anything like that. Just a mixed group of traders. We have some people in there that are like super advanced, making a ton of money, but also very helpful with sharing their charts and stuff, trying to help the newbies. And then there's a lot of beginners in there too that have never traded before or never used prop firms, and they're learning. So it's a good mix. G-Man, my interview today is at 12:30 Central, so 1:30 Eastern. I'm not doing it live. I'm going to record it and then post it later. For those of you guys who maybe aren't in the Discord or didn't hear yesterday, I'm interviewing the CEO of Lucid Trading today. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, I'm not going to lie. But I'm really excited. It'll be fun. You got a notification that Lucid is in maintenance mode. Let me look at their Discord and see. No. So if you notice, like you're on the technical announcements on their Discord, they do that a lot. I think that's just like a bot update in their group. They do updates on their website a lot. Sometimes they're like doing updates for your account numbers or payout numbers or whatever. It's just a website update. It doesn't have anything to do with Project X or TradeDay or whatever you're trading on. If you're using Project X and maybe you have a little bit of PTSD about those issues a couple of weeks ago, those announcements would be in the Project X channel. And they'll tell you right there, like, Project X is down, do not trade. But hopefully that kind of stuff doesn't happen again. Well, the initial balance is set at this point. I'm thinking we're going to get more downside, you guys. That was a pretty clean rejection of New York anchored VWAP. Come back down to this level. Or even just to initial balance low. These are really big candles, big moves. So it doesn't look like that far, but that trade right there would be 91 points. Alex, the maintenance, does it change anything? Like, does it make their website go down? Let me see. It does. It says maintenance mode. Renzo, Lucid does have TradeDay NinjaTrader, so you can link that to TradingView. So yeah, I think any prop firm that has TradeDay NinjaTrader. The only downside to that is if you're wanting to copy trade, you can't use TradingView to copy trade. You can only trade one account at a time on TradingView, unless you use a third-party copier like TradeSyncer or something like that, which I'm not a big fan of that. I've heard lots of issues with people like having trades not get closed or all kinds of stuff. To me, that just seems like way too many different things where something could go wrong. Too many different moving pieces. But if you're just trading one account and you want to trade directly from TradingView, yes, you can do that. Yeah, Alex, I just saw that. I don't know if that's something they have control over. I don't know if they're having an issue or if this is just a normal update. They actually are doing a fireside chat, I think is what they call it. I don't know, some sort of call today at 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. What do they call it? Town hall meeting. So that would be a good place to ask that kind of stuff. Well, I definitely should have just stuck to my game plan. Annoying day for today. Like, I feel okay about these two trades. One was a loss, one was break even. Because I was sticking to my game plan. Like, above this level, I was looking for longs. Once it dropped below here, I took another long. That was where I went wrong for the day. This was a bad loss for me. Because my thought was if it drops below this level, I would switch to shorts. So I should have not taken that trade and then taken this short right here that I was kind of watching earlier. I'm preaching to myself and letting you guys listen. Gotta learn from these lessons or learn from these missed trades. Getting better every day. That's the goal. The most reliable way to copy trade, I personally would do it within the platform. Like, I use Project X and I copy trade inside the platform. You can also do the same thing with TradeDay or NinjaTrader. You can set up a group of accounts and copy trade in there. If you're copy trading across prop firms, like you want to trade Lucid accounts with Tradeify accounts at the same time, you would have to use a third-party copy trader. And I don't have any personal experience. I can't tell you what company to use. I can't say I will never use one, but I don't think I would be using one anytime soon. A couple reasons. Like I said before, they kind of scare me. There's too many moving parts. I feel like it would mess up some account. I've heard some horror stories. And then also, I feel like I don't need that many accounts. Like, copy trading across 5 Lucid accounts, and I can take $7,500 per payout. That's plenty for me. Do that a couple times a month, I'm good. So I'm not one of those people that needs to have like 30 accounts. That's just my personal opinion though, Joe O'Leary. There's plenty of people who use copy traders and do really well with it. I think it's scary to me. Because yeah, I think people get excited about the income potential. You know, like if I have 40 accounts, all I have to do is make like $200 per account and I'm going to make $1 million this year. That's true, but the opposite is also true. Like, if you just lose $200 per account, that's thousands of dollars per day that you just lost. Let alone the thousands of dollars it would take to buy all of those accounts. That's a lot. All right, you guys. I think I'm going to call it. I didn't trade to my plan today. I'm a little disappointed in that. But that's okay. Like I said, I learned from it. Shouldn't have taken a long into my resistance zone that I had marked off. Should have taken this short rejection from VWAP. That would have been an A+ trade right there. Rejected VWAP. Kind of came to the top of this high volume node. That's where I should have taken the short. And even just targeted initial balance low. So just being conservative, if I took a short there, initial balance low, that would have been a 100-point trade. So that's what I should have been patient for. But I think I'm going to hop off and go get ready for my interview with the CEO of Lucid. I'm excited about that, you guys. You're going to start copy trading with top 1 futures, 5 accounts, $200 per account. There you go. Top One Futures, you guys, they actually have a really good sale going on right now. Their instant funded accounts are like 55% off, I think. Code Krista works for that. Their website, I think, says 50%, but if you use my code, it's actually more. And then they have a new account called their Ignite accounts, and they're a straight to funded account. They have a little bit of stricter rules, but they're cheap. Like, they're the cheapest straight to funded accounts on the market. I think their 100K account is like $250 for a straight to funded account, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's a lot less, significantly less than any other account. Okay, you got the Ignite accounts. Cool. There you go. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off. Have a fantastic rest of the day. Hopefully we'll connect in Discord, and then I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be trading live at the New York Open again. Have a good one, you guys.